Will the FOMC decision push Bitcoin past $100,000? Okay. No, but there is a world where I do think that we do see an immense push from the FOMC minutes. Me personally, we're going to talk about kind of what's going on. I'll give you my thoughts real quickly. This will be a quick video, so appreciate a couple minutes of your time. We do talk crypto every single day on the channel, and welcome. Appreciate all my returning subscribers. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us here on the platform. But let's get into the news. As you can see, the big man there. Boy, this is going to be an interesting one. It's getting almost personal, in my opinion, right? And I think that right now, as we look at the pricing across the board in crypto, was just looking at some XRP, thinking about adding if we get closer to $2, but the market overall down. We shifted into the red, but there are a few cryptocurrencies that are starting to reverse course. So maybe a little bit of a tipping of the hand. I think when we get these FOMC minutes, you do get a lot of people banking on the outcome. They're almost somewhat form or fashion betting on it like it's a market taking a wager. And that's kind of where we see a little bit of hedging maybe even, but in the top 100, it's vastly a red day across the board. Okay. But in a good spot overall, in my personal opinion, the overall market cap, just a brush below $3 trillion. That is something where I think that we could see, with positive numbers, we could see that eclipsing 3 trillion once again. But the big storyline for me, guys, is the altcoin index and the fear and greed. That is what is really setting up for me in my personal investment strategies. We were trading at a fear and greed of around, I think, 15 just back in March. So that just shows you how fast things can change in 1 month as a crypto trader. So take that for what it's worth. But the kind of saying I had on the channel, and I remember this because I kind of have a good feel of what I'm talking about in terms of remembering it. But pretty much for like the last month, you had that blood in the streets feeling when it came to crypto. And that's kind of where, you allow yourself almost when that fear and greed index is just dead red, almost just far left. That's when, historically, if you look back at kind of how that correlates with the moving of Bitcoin's price, I think that really would be a good spot. And it's proved to be successful in terms of more trades that were positive than not. Okay. But this is kind of what we came here to talk about. And, unfortunately, it's kind of an interesting world that we live in, right? We as traders have to rely on macro things just as if we were trading buying some Apple or Google on that front. And it's something where it's going to shape the week, but it's not going to shape crypto too long. It's very transitory in my personal opinion. And if the markets want to react and you want to buy and sell, trade crypto, that's great. That'll be an easy way for somebody to make a nice 3 to 4%, stack those chips. But if you are watching my channel, it's more centered on being holders long-term of cryptocurrency with a little bit of a flair and appeal to the short-term traders' interests as well. So we're going to give you guys both sides of the argument. But before we do, if you are looking to do some trading, okay, check out my guys at BTCC. Start trading with me on that platform. Spot and leverage trading available to pretty much every region out there. There are some stipulations with the UK. Make sure it's right for you and where you're located. And if you want to start trading today on BTCC, my link is down below with a lot of promotional and volume competitions and giveaways that they are doing. Start trading today if you want to, and BTCC is right for you. But that's kind of where I'm at. Trusted exchange, 14 plus years in the industry. A lot of people are using it out there in the crypto world. And if you want to, the link is down below. Okay. But this is what we came here to talk about, all right? And you look in kind of the technicals for Bitcoin. Me personally, I'll throw them out the window because right now we look at Bitcoin up 30% and everybody was shorting BTC, okay? They were shorting it based on volatility of Trump moving in, starting trade wars, all that good stuff. But this is something where you look into the compromise. I told you guys, in my opinion, this was all a bluff, right? It was all a bluff. It was all transitory. And unfortunately, we have these minutes and you have regulators within the Federal Reserve shaping economic policy that will impact the whole world just basically as a countermeasure against what Donald Trump was doing within tariffs, okay? Him and Powell were basically going toe to toe, a little bit of a measuring contest, if you will, in my personal opinion. A little bit of egos clashing, which is good, breeds competition. That's always going to be a good outcome if you want to get the best possible thing. Just Trump's a little bit volatile in those situations, so you have to stay leery a little bit. But that's something where we look into the numbers, okay? Economists believe that the Federal Reserve will maintain interest rates at 4.5%, maintaining a cautious tone because inflation remains elevated, and also they expect to rise gradually as Trump's tariffs take effect, okay? For pricing, that is. Okay, but at the same time, officials are worried that the economy may be moving towards a recession. Let's just say that word. It's like Beetlejuice. You say recession, the market dips 15, 20%. Unfortunately, that's kind of what happened a little bit. And I think a lot of people got wrecked upon that. But we don't like to throw out that word, so we're not going to say it. And if you want to really use that word and be an economist, then please be aware of the previous year under the Biden administration when we had two negative quarters back to back in terms of the GDP, and although marginal, I mean, that is the definition, if you look it up in a dictionary, what the definition of a recession is, but it was not kind of accepted, or it was not kind of admonished like we are seeing with a potential of a recession, okay? It's funny how that works, okay, by the media. But anyways, we get into this a little bit deeper. This is something where there might be a 25 basis point cut at the June meeting. That's something where a lot of people are predicting. So I basically look at it, if you are going to trade Bitcoin and you are going to trade cryptocurrency based on interest rates alone, essentially using kind of our historical basis and our knowledge, I'm never going to tell you to buy or sell a crypto. Not financial advice, but that would kind of leave us with the argument that you should be buying. You basically have till June to kind of load up the bags, okay? That's kind of where you're at. If you are going to play it based off of interest rates and macro Federal Reserve policy and all that stuff with interest rates. But the one thing I think that's keeping us back as a crypto market, the whole ecosystems, every blockchain, every single crypto out there, meme coin, altcoin, blue chips, does not matter whatsoever. Even crypto infrastructure that's traded traditionally across the world. That is something where I think the thing that's holding us back is just the thought looming that recession could be near. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Leave your comments down below. Just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. You just say hi every once in a while. If you think recession is looming, I'd like to have a nice conversation with you all. Me personally, I don't think it's going to matter because I think that if you do trust what the Trump administration is doing, I think it's a bluff. I think that they're just trying to get everybody to the table, flash some guns around, flap their gums. Everybody looks macho, just trying to have all that, USA's better, China's better, almost Cold War tactics, if you will, just to get that seat at the table to compromise and get a better trade deal for the United States. I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's all Trump is looking for, is a better trade deal with China and across the globe. It worked with the EU. I think they're still maneuvering a little bit, but I do think that I do think that when we look at the Chinese government as a whole, I think a lot of people downplay the point that the Chinese need the United States economy just as much as we need them in terms of imports and whatnot. And they are, I think, fresh off of just kind of getting used to doing things the same way for a long period of time. And it works. It's been very expansive. I think there's a lot of propaganda going around with the Chinese way of life. And that's okay. That's okay. But I think that there's something where I think people go underestimating how much that they need all this synergy within this relationship in terms of trade, more so than I think the media lends on. And I think that's something big. Looking forward, kind of where we get that compromise with Trump and leaders such as President Xi.